wasn't there. Hey, when they drove the slaves from the ship, and I wasn't there. No. Hey, when they whipped my great-great-grandfather with the whip, but oh, I can feel the pain. Lord have mercy, I can feel the pain. Yeah, yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel the pain.
Today, August 12th, 2014, this postal carrier is dumping official mail in the dumpster. This reminds me of the Quitman 10+2 and Mr. Boone as he took information off of personal mail and gave it to a private investigator at the request of a former Brooks County school attorney. Yet the Postmaster General has done nothing to correct what Mr. Boone allegedly done that was brought out in Lula Smart court case over in Quitman, Georgia. Now, listen and see what happens when the Postmaster General ignore these people. Undoubtedly, this type of practice is spreading across the nation, and to hear Mr. Boone, an 18-year employee with the Postal Service, had never heard of something as simple as the Privacy Act. And yet, he took official ballots, yet they prosecute the Quitman 10, yet what happens? Watch, and you'll see what is going on in our world.
In they go, letters, bills, paychecks for people in Bond Hill. But this mail carrier isn't done yet. A second box of mail dumped in the trash.
Me, my stepmom lives here. She's missing mail. My sister, some of my friends that live here is missing mail.
Alicia Carr and her neighbors a block away noticed they didn't get mail. We showed her this video.
If the Postmaster General ignores what happens in Brooks County, and nothing happens to people who started the investigation of the Quitman 10+2, then you understand what is happening in our world.
Looks like she is putting deodorant on.
She's dumping bags of mail into the dumpster on the other side of Paddock.
Wow.
Back on Paddock, the people who caught this all on camera say the post office came back and got it out after they called and complained.
I'm a little saddened by it because you rely on the postal system. And now they failed you.
The female carrier in this video wasn't back today. The carrier we saw in this neighborhood tells us he was just filling in. He wasn't filling up this dumpster.
The hope is that we receive our mail today.
Well, as it is, that's the way it is, my brothers and sisters. Yet, nobody was saying it. And wait a minute, I'm finished yet. Think about this. Can you imagine the registrar taking absentee ballots home to work on them? Can you imagine that? Not in Russia, not in Afghanistan, not in Pakistan, but right here in the United States of America. Yeah, and do you not know that nothing was done about it? And you talking about 2010? And yet, Lula Smart, on August the 19th, will be going back to the courthouse to be tried for alleged voter fraud, which we don't believe anything occurred except those workers gave Brooks County the first majority black Board of Education in the history of that county. That's all. David Miller, Assistant District Attorney, let me slow it down. District Attorney David Miller and Assistant District Attorney Brad Shealy and others we believe had ulterior motives in getting these people arrested, and after nearly 4 years have not been to court or found guilty of anything. Lula Smart, first trial was a mistrial. Her second trial was a mistrial. Her third trial will be August the 19th, and now they have added Dr. Nancy Dennett, one of the most outstanding and prestigious blacks in Brooks County. And yet, we hear nothing from the Postmaster General, nothing from the Secretary of State about what has happened. You know, it's a shame, but once again, we are going to find out what a real democracy looks like. This is George Foster Ryan with the Ghetto Free Press. We'll be giving you more on this. Yeah, Don't you think that's strange? That a postal service worker, after 18 years, would not even know anything or say he even heard of something as simple as a Privacy Act. And he stated that on the stand in the Brooks County Courthouse. Then to have the registrar in Brooks County of the Board of Elections take official Georgia ballots home with her to process, then deputize people to work with her, including her granddaughter. And the question was asked while she was on the stand by Attorney Shaveen King. Was that job that you gave your granddaughter advertised so everybody would have a shot at it? And she said no. Well, I've said to you for the last 20 or 30 years now, Georgia definitely has its own set of rules and laws. And well, one day you're not concerned today. No, let me repeat. You're not concerned about it today. No, you're not concerned about it today. But just keep on living. And those same laws gonna make you the victim of circumstance. Then you'll get concerned. Then you'll call me and say, Brother Ryans, how do you know that, Brother Ryan? Because I already have people call me, and that's exactly what they say. They thought they was immune to being picked up or stopped on criminal trespass, and they have violated no law. Well, but then again, who cares? Who really cares anymore? Yes, the registrar deputized people to carry out this work. So now look, she took those official ballots home with her as it has been brought out in the courtroom with Judge Porter and Judge Lane. But look, if she took them home, that means that if she wanted her Republican friends to look at those ballots, or her Democrat, Green Party, or Independent friends to look at those ballots, she could have done it because she had those ballots in the privacy of her own home. Now, I'm not going to say this, but since you have taken them from a secure area, or should have been at a secure area in the county, but if you take them home, you could even make ballots disappear and you don't have to be a magician. Look, after that was brought out in court, and this too was like Boone in the post office. This was the base of the Quitman 10+2 being arrested for alleged voter fraud, etc., etc., etc. Not to mention the fact of what the G.B.R. took the citizens through in Brooks County during their investigation. But that's a story for another day and another time, but it all has been documented, and some of it have been brought out in court. But back to the registrar. Now, look, if she took ballots from her place of employment to her personal dwelling place, and if Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp did not do anything and haven't done anything, then what are we to say about voting in the state of Georgia? What are we to say to Eric Holder, who have heard this, seen this, and we have sent Mr. Eric Holder copies on DVD of citizens talking about what is going wrong in Brooks County. Now, if people in Brooks County cannot trust the registrar to keep official ballots in a secured area approved by the state, then what are we to expect? And if the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, has not said anything about it, then what does that mean? Let me help you out. It means that this sets a precedent that any registrar in Fulton County or any county in the state of Georgia and perhaps around the United States of America, let me repeat, anybody in the United States of America that have been employed as a registrar can take official ballots home to work on them and possibly even with their particular party, friends and associates to help them do whatever needs to be done to those ballots, in some cases maybe to affect the outcome of an election. But isn't it strange? Listen, people in Atlanta, people in Washington, D.C., Georgia General Assembly, Governor Nathan Deal, and Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens, is it not strange that Georgia can set such a precedent and nobody says nothing? It is as if though a tree fell in the forest and nobody will report the fact that the tree fell. Yet, the people in Brooks County saw the tree when it fell. They have children that was beneath the tree when it fell. Many of them went to Vietnam, went to Korea, went to Germany, went to all these other conflicts to fight for the rights of foreigners, only to come home to have their votes, in some cases, like Ms. Gibbs say, not counted. And the question is, how much more can one community take? How much more can the community of Brooks County take while the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, sit there and do nothing? We know that there was meetings that was held, and we know that Brian P. Kemp sent his investigator down, and yet he took complaints. We gave him DVDs. We pleaded with him to do something. And until this date, people from Quitman are calling me, asking me, George, when are Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp are going to address our complaints? Because once again, he has ignored the citizens of Lowndes County, yet we, the taxpayers, are paying Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp. He see us. He watches my video, but he think that the voting process in Georgia is not worth a rotten butterbean. If he cared about voting in Georgia, there is no way that he could ignore what has come out after nearly 4 years in the Quitman 10+2 case. He knows about what's going on. People are questioning now. District Attorney David Miller in the courtroom was asked for a letter with a signature, and to my knowledge, the Honorable District Attorney David Miller has never produced that letter to the courts. Now, get with Shaveen King, the attorney for the Quitman 10+2, and you find out for yourself. But as far as the courtroom setting, we never saw that letter presented in the courts as we think it should have been. Now, I'm gonna cut here, but this is not the end. This is only the beginning. And we cannot stop civil rights organizations. Edward DuBose, Representative Tyrone Brooks, Lucas, we cannot stop this. Too many Americans gave their lives on foreign battlefields to stop now. This is the Ghetto Free Press. Let me repeat. This is the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. Have a nice day. This is the voice of the people.